Starting the meeting at 6:32. Meeting coming to order with roll call.
Christine Erb.
Mark Calvert.
Ray Jennings.
Chris Williams.
Okay, all are present and counted for. And I'm trying to get here. Andy is on an incident and will be here later, and Dave Beatty is here. The agenda, I want to adjust. We're going to go into executive session after the meeting to discuss matter covered under ORS 192.660, prin little prin 1, prin little prin maybe an H or an N.
It's an H, no, it's supposed to
H? Okay. So we'll do that at the end of the meeting for just a few minutes. Okay, so minutes from last meeting.
So before we start, because do we need to approve this agenda? Oh, sorry, never mind. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
I was supposed to do this first.
I know. Put the brakes on.
Okay, so minutes from last meeting. Did everybody get a chance to read them? Do we have any questions?
No.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, do I have a motion to approve them?
I move that we approve the minutes from the October board meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved by Christine Erm, seconded by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. And agenda, other than executive meeting at the end, does anybody have any other options they want to add to it?
Yes. Do we need to add the signing of to get you on the checking account?
Yes. Oh, no, it's down here. Added Whirlin back to bank account. It's under new business.
We'll do it then.
What?
You'll do it then.
For the bank account? It was on me.
Yeah. Okay. Everything's listed that people have talked about. Chris, what are you able to hear? I feel like I'm
I hear most everything.
okay. Then I'll quit yelling.
We approve the amended agenda.
Okay,
Oh.
Second. Sorry, Christine.
where'd he go? It's been moved and seconded by Chris Williams and Ray. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 5-0. Treasurer's report.
Would you have Joanne explain what she discovered today?
Joanne.
Yes.
What did you discover today? What did you discover today?
You need to buy eggs. What do? You discuss.
Yeah, that too. Chris,
Come closer to.
Chris brought to my attention. Chris, please. Let's stand. That on the class, P&L by class, there was an entry on the payroll on the personal payroll section of, let me pull it up. The medic was charged for some work that was actually Buford's. They were on fire detail.
Okay.
So I made that adjustment.
Okay.
We subtracted that and payroll tax. associated with those items. So after I got that done, I thought, well, maybe that had been missed previously. So I went back and there were 2 other times that were small amounts. This one was 2,000 something.
Okay,
So it's all been subtracted off of this month's IGA check.
okay. Chris, are you hearing this?
Yeah, she sent me,
She sent an email.
you guys to be on the same page.
Okay,
Here. Well, that's everything else.
okay,
That is what it came up to.
okay.
The IGA check. So
And this is in the email?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not sure I included the other 2 items.
You did for 130, 132 and 601 for July and September. And then the October for 2,452 and 92 cents.
So a total of how much refunded?
Don't
About 5,000.
let it happen.
Are you human? No. You can be human. Okay, so it's corrected as of now. Do we need to sign that check?
You want to do so?
No, give it to Christine. I'm not on the bank account yet.
Christine?
Thank you. Thanks for clarification. Chris, thanks for catching that.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think the rest of the report looks great.
Okay. So with that adjustment, do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Got a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. It's been moved by Ray and seconded by Christine. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 5-0. Thank you, Joanne. And Chris. And payment of the bills.
I move we pay the bills.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved by Mark and seconded by Ray. All in favor to pay the bills.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. 5-0. Public comment? As far as I can tell, the only odd one is Joanne here. Nobody else is sitting in the chairs behind me. And her not odd.
No other public.
Sorry, bad wording. No other public is here. Okay, repayment of scholarship, old business.
I'm sorry, Andy left like last second, so I can't give an update on that until later.
Okay. It is my understanding, and I know this much. He said the ones that still work with us are on a payment plan or going into a payment plan, something to that effect. But I don't know anything on the other one, so we can wait for Andy to verify clarification on that. Community involvement, is that you?
Yeah, Dave and I,
Yes. Go ahead.
we're the team.
Hey,
So we are looking at doing a blood drive here at the station. And we're working with American Red Cross on that. The high school will have their blood drive December 4th. So we are staying clear of that, and we would need to wait a minimum of 56 days if I was to give blood for the high school and then give blood here. So more to come on that.
I don't
And
like
again,
needles.
it's really a part of getting the community in our building, being involved in the community and that sort of thing. So,
Absolutely.
and then the next thing after that is building snowmen and hot chocolate on fire out here somewhere.
Very cool. Do we have to wait for
I
the
found out
snow?
about that today, but that's a great idea. We know what happens in January and February, during gets bad and then we get something.
Well, they're coming code into the building. I was just, thought that was interesting.
Oh,
I saw lights coming this way. I'm like, what the heck are they doing? But
I'm probably back in.
I would like to talk to you about that after the meeting.
okay,
Community involvement,
yes.
of things I suggested on a survey for our school.
Sounds good.
So, okay, any other community involvement questions, thoughts, concerns?
We're looking for ideas.
Have a few. Hey,
Matt's excited for me.
you like blood drives?
I'll be there.
Ugh,
Got blood.
You're gonna join me, right, Greg?
I can't get past the
You
needle.
know, we can also do drive-through flu shots with our station like this.
I was gonna say drive-through blood drive. Just say, sit here for a minute. Don't drive off.
Good siphon for almost mid-figure boy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so many problems with that.
Okay, IGA with Pendleton. All right. You wanna take that one?
You want me to? Did everybody get the email I sent? Do we need to run some copies, or does folks have the rudimentary cost list?
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna start by saying the IGA with Pendleton for payroll, HR. I think there was one other thing there. We talked about accounts payable, but that's not going to be a part of this, at least initially. I think we're getting to the point where we have to move on it one way or the other. So, and I know at our last meeting there was some talk about the cost, whether we need to do RFPs, whether we need to do other things. And I don't know that I have all the research done, but I do know the intent of the IGAs allows governments to work together to streamline what they have, services, et cetera, et cetera. Being that HR is one of those things that's usually done in-house, payroll, can be internal or external depending on the entity. Typically, government takes that on within. It seemed like a very good fit with Pendleton running a very similar schedule, having a CBA that's very similar on the HR side, et cetera. And they're producing a service that we need, that we're currently hiring out for on the payroll side. So I did my best to try to get, it's not apples to apples, but it's as close as we can get to apples and apples comparison. The proposed IGA with Pendleton is $100,000 a year, which works out to $83.33 a month. I went back through fiscal year 24. We spent about a little over $75,000 just in the administrative specialist position that we had, which was doing HR and some payroll stuff, and we still had an accounting services line item which totaled out to $20,000. In fiscal 25, the numbers shifted a little bit, but it was roughly the same cost. We're actually up. Well, actually, it was up about 85. My math was close to $85,000. So I think, right, 35 to 49, that'd be 85-ish, 84. Then looking at July of this year through October, so a third of the fiscal year. Our accounting services are running at 18,000 right now, and that's just that line item. And then I extrapolated that out for the next 2 quarters, which came up with 55. So that would be about, is that right, 55? Yeah, that'd be about 55 for the years, is if you continue that number for the next 8 months. But that is only accounting services. And so that's not HR, right? So we're about 55,000 just for accounting side. We're not paying anybody to do HR at that point. And I think that's where we're having some issues, is not having that HR and some of those other things. So which the IGA would do. So I realize it's not as apples to apples, but what we would be getting is actually more than we have right now. Where we're gonna have a deficit in there is on the accounts payable piece that we've been talking about, which Pendleton may do for an additional amount. We haven't really negotiated that with them based on what we have, based on the board's decision last week. I did have a talk with the mayor, with the city of Weston, about their part-time employee. I spoke with that individual. They are interested in more work than they're getting with the city. I think you might have some brand new information on that.
Yeah, she's just been hired full-time, but that is only 30 hours. She wants the other 10 hours or more.
Okay.
So if we wanted 40 hours, I think she would seriously consider the 40 hours, take 30 or 15 or whatever we wanted. But she's very interested in doing it. And our mayor thinks, and he knows that I don't, he thinks she is a very effective worker.
And what I gather, that individual does very similar stuff for the city, does some accounts payable, attends the city council meetings, takes notes, produces agendas for those, does the minutes for those, and does some of those other things, right? Is it everything that is being done?
No.
Maybe not, but at least it's getting
Pretty close.
enough of those pieces that I think we can find some sort of equilibrium. So
Very
there's a couple asks here, I guess, is what I'm trying to say with the IGA. So there's the IGA with Pendleton, and then there's the accounts payable, whether we go through Pendleton and ask for that to be added in there, or whether we work another IGA with the city of Weston to, in my mind, we don't want another employee, but we would be able to IGA with them. They could, do a very similar thing, bill us for the 10 hours a week or the 15 hours a week, send us a bill for that individual. And we can, pay for that as we go. Very similar work. We'd have somebody here part of the time, etc. This is kind of where I'm conceptually thinking.
You talk to Mike, he has no idea what an IGA is, so
Right.
you have to stop at
Well,
start at ground level.
yep. And it'd be a fairly simple one. I don't think it would take a whole lot, but without,
I have an odd question.
yeah,
If he, whoever gets 30 hours through the city, and let's say we want 15 hours, are we paying overtime? Because technically she would be a city employee that we're IGA-ing, so technically she would get overtime.
that there's definite potential there. If she's consistently working 45 or 50 hours a week, I don't want to say, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but like, if we find it's, 15 to 20 on the initial, and then it tapers down and we can reach a late equilibrium, and we get like, oh yeah, I can totally fit this in, and I've figured out some efficiencies, and I can do this, and we can figure out the other pieces. It's going to take a little bit of time. But yeah, if they're working 45 hours a week, yeah, we would be on the hook for that overtime, because they're not
The
getting it there.
additional person.
Yeah. So I'm not, is it ideal? No. I'm not opposed to it though. That's business.
So Matt or Greg, what's this person's salary? Do we have any idea what that number?
I really don't know that, and I should have that information, but I don't. I can certainly give you a call.
That's my other question is if we go 100 with the Pendleton.
I think I do know. I think I do. I think she gets $20 an hour.
I was mentally using that number.
I think that's what she gets.
Right.
She has been being paid like 17 an hour, but we had to also pay the company that hired her, that provided her, I'm sorry. And so now that she's not doing that anymore, we gave her the extra money, which I think is $20 an hour.
So again,
So Mark, maybe on the her, you know, that contribution towards PERS for that amount, plus that contribution towards other benefits, is that correct?
so the way that would typically work is we would be on the hook for the portion of work that we're getting, right? If it's for simple math, if it's 25% of her time, then we're on the hook for 25% of her other payroll expenses would be, or however we'd have to work that with the city, because the city, you know, there's certain things that won't change, like very likely her insurance is the same every month, this is the same every month, blah, blah, blah. But based on her hours, her taxes are gonna vary. The other things that come in there are gonna vary based on, so we can work that out, like we can figure out.
Why can't we just hire as an employee and she has 2 jobs?
I wanna avoid that.
Why?
Because right now, I think hiring more employees is not a benefit to us right now.
Okay, that's good enough.
We could explore that, but it's just,
That's okay.
I want,
If you
yeah.
think it's bad, I'm in.
So Matt, it looks like it.
What's your estimate of what the cost for accounts payable and meeting notes or whatever else that this person be asked to do?
Well, if we're at the $20 an hour mark and we can add 50% for OPE and we're looking at, $30 an hour for 10 hours a week. It's $300 a week. My math is right. Is that right? So we're looking at $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month.
About 14,400.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
For the year, Chris,
Just-
it's a little over 14,000.
So we would be to basically get all the services we need. We're going to be somewhere around 115,000 with like the roadmap that's before us right now. Is
Yes.
that correct?
That's a ballpark. Yeah.
But we're already spending almost 83 to 90.
Well, we spent 75 in fiscal 24. We spent 85 in fiscal 25, and we're not getting some of those services in that. We're not getting the HR side. And I'll just tell you this: that's the stuff that's eating our lunch right now. That we have a really hard time with, because there's some streamlines that we've got some good things in place. We've got a CPA in place. That's great. But we also need to make sure that whether it's that or our policies or everything else is in line. And that's what HR helps. That's what professional level HR helps with. And that's what we would be buying with this service. And so that's the stuff that is really difficult for small entities to have. We can't have a professional HR. We can have a professional HR person on staff. We can do that. It's going to cost a lot of money, a lot more than that per year just in itself.
Yeah.
Let alone getting payroll services and some of the other stuff with that, right? The other thing that I see with this, and I guess to try to tease this out, is we're at a point where we gotta move on something. We know we've got a resignation from Joanne at the end of the year. We don't have everything buttoned up with the city of Pendleton or with the city of Weston yet. I know there's a lot of, I wouldn't say gambling there, but there's a lot of to do still that I think can be worked through. The IGA with Pendleton is probably 90+% drafted. We've had a draft. We've looked at it. We've edited some of that stuff saying, hey, we don't want this, or what does this mean? So we're super close on that. It wouldn't look any different than that. But as the fire board, I don't feel comfortable moving forward on something that the medic board doesn't support. And if the medic board doesn't support it, then we got to figure out another way to get that stuff done. Because I'm not willing to entertain voting on something that's not supported by
The whole board.
all of us.
And thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The medic board. I have a couple questions. And it affects the Weston city employee and also if we go with Pendleton, how are we funding this? Like, what is the fire paying out of your budget? What are we paying out of the medic budget? That would be one question that I would have. Also, with the city of Pendleton, I don't need their HR services every single day. I should hope not, right, James? Andy, I should hope not, but maybe. Can we look at with them, like, for the hours that they are working on HR and paying them that as opposed to we're just doing this flat out fee?
We talked about that with them initially is like, what does that mean that you're getting? And we're actually getting the entire HR staff. And so whether it's Dave has a question about something or an employee has a question about something, and yes, some months, the way this is built, some months we'll pay for services that we're not really utilizing. And other months, I think we're gonna yeah, we just made some money on that deal. You know what I mean? Just it's gonna ebb and flow based on that work.
I hear what you're saying, but we don't have that many employees. We don't normally go through a lot of hiring and firing. And that's a lot of money. I mean,
So I'm gonna, I feel it is a big chunk of money, but on the other hand, we have tried to employ a person that checks all those boxes, and we have not found a single person that possesses all of those skills. And so basically this fee gives us, between this and what we can do at the city of Weston, gives us an entry into all the areas of expertise that we can't seem to hire in one individual.
no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think the value of what we're getting is there. It's whether financially we can afford it, I guess. And
So the other thing that I'm gonna say the IGA does, and I think I also attached the budget sheet. And I went through that and made sure that budget sheet reflected our salary tables right out of our CBA. So those have been adjusted with that based on whatever was put in there. That gives us the margin to pull this off with where we are. Out of that surplus, whether we got to route that from personnel services to services side of our budget, like we can figure that out, but there is enough margin there based on our current rates that we're paying, that we should have. The other thing the IGA does, and this is maybe more of an uncomfortable place, and this one doesn't have it written in there, and that's not the intent of this as it sits, but it gives us some framework moving forward as a department, or as a district, sorry, not as a district. And to use, what the chief has said before, if the analogy is, if Dave got hit by a bus tomorrow, what do we have in this organization as far as our structure? And we don't have the ability right now to fill, like we'd take time to replace a chief or to go through that mode, whatever we're going to do. This IGA would then give us the framework to be able to tap into something that we're already paying for. We're already paying for admin. We're already paying for payroll. We're already paying for HR. We'd have the ability to utilize that structure until we figure out the next steps for where we're going to go.
Yeah.
So that's the other piece where, yes, it's spendy, but it gives us the insurance that we need, which is what we're effectively buying.
And correct me if I'm wrong, when we talked about this before, we are not signing up for 6 months, a year. I mean, we could go into this and 3 months later, we could decide that this is not gonna work, isn't working for us
Yes,
and step out of it.
yes.
I think we have to give them a 30
30
day.
day.
And that's
But-
fine. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that it's not like,
It's not, we're not in it forever. We're in it. And that goes for both parties. It may not work for them and they may
Right.
say, hey, whoa, we can't do this anymore. But yeah, there's a 30-day severability for either party. And we'll make sure that's in there. We're not gonna set up a long-term contract, but it'll be, the intent would be very similar to the IGA that we already have between the districts. It's ongoing, but we want to revisit it every year and make sure it's
Still
there.
working.
But we can sever that one today, right? And so,
and then how are the districts paying?
I added the 83 and the 15, I rounded it up to 10,000 a month. Split in half is 5,000 times 12 months is basic 60,000 per budget if we went 50-50. And I think we can afford that.
I didn't go that far into the weeds. I'm literally just using this page with the numbers on it to say, yeah, we can put it in there. And if we find that this stuff isn't working and like, oh God, we're over, that seems like a very good thing to, hey, we got to cut this off and start something else, right? But we're going to see a savings in theory, the line item for accounting services, right? Because Jensen Spratling will no longer be needed to do payroll, so that will come back in, and however that's being right. And I'm not into the weeds on this. I probably should be. That's probably a really bad thing to say, but there is margin to do that. We would have to figure out the detail on how we're going to portion that out.
I just did the Pendleton and Weston, give or take,
Yeah.
10,000 a
What
month.
it would take. Okay, and so speaking of our accounting services, yes, we know that the payroll and some of that is gonna come out, but we still use them on a yearly basis for taxes and that sort of thing.
Or do they do our audit or do we do audit?
They don't do our audit.
They don't do the audit, but they have done some of that in the past. As far as not payroll taxes, right?
But wouldn't Pendleton do the year-end taxes
Yeah.
on people's pay?
That's they're doing our payroll, so they're gonna do our W-2s and they're gonna do the rest of that stuff, and that's all part of that package of payroll.
So is this accounting services, this line item, on both of these strictly for payroll and that sort of thing every single year? Are there other fees that are included in this for our accounting services that are outside of?
The IGA?
And Joanne might have to help me, and I'd have to look at the only thing I can see in there's line 6, there's line 711, it says Jensen Spratling, it says Joanne's booking service, and then there's other accounting services, and it's kind of mashed together. Sometimes it's mashed together and sometimes it's split out. Is what I've noticed, because I went back through several to try to get the numbers out as best I could. So I don't know if that answers your question. There's usually 3 entries in there.
They should do all of the taxes too, is like covered. You do districts, it's not separated.
Be too difficult to divide into someone else's system and try to
Yeah.
figure out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah, and I think we can make that. We can articulate that in the IGA if it's not, I mean, it was in the proposed language is in there, so I think it's probably good, but we'll revisit that and make sure. So I realize there's a lot kind of riding on this, but I think we can, and I'm not gonna say table it, but we can kind of table the city of Weston stuff until we get a little more info. I think somebody's gonna have to go to a city council meeting, or just maybe not a city council meeting, but have time with them to kind of navigate this, and then the city council gonna have to approve that.
Right.
And I get the impression that there's support there, but I don't want to, go too far too fast with that. The IGA at least gets some of this stuff taken care of, and I don't see a way around it. Like we've gotta move on this.
No, I agree. What I don't want to have happen is the city of Pendleton is taking us over. And when we're talking about them helping us with HR and they're talking about the payroll, I'm good with that. Tony leaning in and, us asking questions when need be, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with the city of Pendleton running us. I mean, I'm not. But I think that this is a good direction to go in, and at least try it as long as those other things,
Well, we still have our staff. We still have folks that have been hired here, that are here. And right now we still have a fire chief. He hasn't got hit by a bus. So, but like I said, it gives us that framework to figure out the next steps when it's time to take those next steps.
Christine, in the IGA, it does specify that. Did you write the IGA, Beth?
Did I write it?
Yeah.
No.
we all sat here and helped craft
So
that.
That's okay. That's okay. No, I'm on this same time. So it looks to me like it's very clear that the employees are still East Umatilla board members and that it's still administered by the fire chief, and any new rules and regulations by the board is through this board, not through city. So I'm comfortable with that too. I'll concur with Christine. I'm comfortable with going ahead. Yeah, I mean, it's a big chunk of money. So, I mean, I support it.
Okay.
But I agree. I want East Umatilla to keep its identity. And unless the commissioners do something with this consolidation, we'll have.
Well, that's happening. That's downstream. And again, this gives us some framework to be able to navigate whatever that next level is, right? And so next level next year, next level 3 years, like it gives us room to be able to accommodate whatever that next thing is. And it's a lot of money. Like I agree. It's a big deal, but I have a hard time, like we can't keep doing what we've been doing because what we've been doing isn't working, and we've just had a really hard time with that. Keeping folks here to try to pick up those pieces and do that is really, really tough.
I think just maybe to add to Christine's, I think it's going to be really dependent on the administrators' speed back to the board if they don't feel like that's pretty critical. If they don't feel like Pendleton's giving us our $8,000 a month worth of I think the board is not going to know that for sure. I mean, Matt or Chris might get an idea. I think we need that feedback.
I agree
With that, and
completely.
I think if
Daily.
Pendleton will do their best, we'll probably get more than enough.
Yeah, no, I
Daily
agree.
report.
Unless they get
I
tired.
don't want daily reports.
As long as everything runs nice and smooth, everybody gets paid the proper amount, paid on time. And we have the HR staff to fall back on to help us get through whatever kind of a ripple in the pond that might come up, then I'm a happy camper.
Okay. Chris, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but I don't think that we can find the person to employ ourselves that checks all the boxes. So I'm in favor of giving it a try. But I do think since Joanne does want to retire at the end of the year, we've got to get with the city of Weston and get a framework in place that we can vote on next month to get the accounts payable piece taken care of.
Okay.
I think you're gonna have to vote on it tonight. I think that girl is gonna need a full
Training.
month's worth of training, at least. I don't know how she can do it in a month.
Well, we can. Yeah, I think like I said, the IGA itself with Pendleton is well over
Is
90%
primary.
there. It will take some work, if the board is approved or signal that they want to pursue that, like it'll take a little bit more work with City of Weston, because, you know, yeah, the mayor's on board, but I don't know about, like, he's got a good pulse from the council, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
That are
he does,
supportive.
yeah, I don't think it's a problem,
Um,
but you know, and I'm not worried about that side of it, I'm worried about her training. I think both boards need to approve tonight the authority for you or Chris to meet with the mayor and resolve all the issues. So that we can actually have an emergency meeting and authorize you to hire her. I mean, she needs time to train. You can't just turn the switch at the end of the year and say, okay, here you are, babe, good luck. That ain't gonna work.
I get that. And that's the thing, we're in a time crunch, right?
Well, let's
Yeah.
move.
So Mark, your thoughts on the IGA with Pendleton?
I always think it's a good idea to have outside eyes look at things.
Okay.
I've seen other agencies that have benefited from it, and so I'm on board.
Okay. So let's go back to Pendleton, and do we have a motion to approve Matt to move forward with the fire board to IGA with Pendleton?
Just look over that agreement another time.
So moved. Okay, so Chris Williams has moved and Ray has seconded. All in favor of allowing the fire board to sign what needs to be signed to do the IGA with Pendleton,
No, with the
Aye.
city.
the city of Pendleton.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we've got 5-0 on the Pendleton. Now, for the IGA with Weston. Do we want to have a motion to move forward with talking to the city council board and,
Mayor.
So moved.
Yes,
okay,
and I would, I
so.
like the idea of maybe you and Matt both being a part of that.
The
Okay.
medic board supports the fire board to develop an IGA with the city of Weston.
Okay, so it's been moved by Ray. Do I have a second on the IGA with Weston?
I second it.
Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
I
Okay, 5-0. Matt, you and I can talk about that later.
I'd like to give it
Okay.
Weston business.
Monthly equipment status.
Your reports down here. We've got a safety committee chairman now.
We have a safety committee chairman.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
And we've been doing, Chris prompted me on this. I've been doing daily safety trainings or safety classes with the on-duty crew with the morning briefing. So they've been getting something every day, and we'll start having agendas and meetings and even building inspections here frequently.
Perfect.
And there are two vehicles that we had troubles with. One is disabled. It is it's the Spartan engine. I think it's 95.
26. 1926 was the Spartan.
That's Bill's number. I think it's a 1995 the year.
It is,
Yes.
1995.
Pretty sure we don't have a 1926.
Isn't that?
No, it's
for
number-
Old one.
1926?
Number 1926.
That's beat me up right now. He won't look at me, but he's beat me up. The transfer case went out. The Darley water pump on it. I'm paraphrasing I'm trying to remember what Nick Dodson told me from Hughes Fire. It leaked water into it. And it's 1995 engine, so it's kind of old to start with. He's going to give me an email with some options and some prices. I haven't received that from him yet, but over the phone today, he told me that the transfer case was going to be at least 30 grand. So at some point, I'll have a discussion with Matt to see if he wants to throw 30 grand into an engine that's already 25 25 or 30 years old.
How
Which-
often is it used? How
That's
often
another really good discussion. Long answer, correct answer. When we combine all of our districts, a lot of these hamlets, cities, towns had fire stations with a pumper and with a structural engine and a ladder and a tender inside it. They don't all get used. How often is that particular engine used? Not very, maybe 5 times a year tops.
Okay. But for the medic, how many of the medics were problems?
How many of the ambulances were having problems?
Yeah.
None.
Okay.
None.
I'm just trying to.
They don't
Got your message.
They
I'll
don't care
hush.
about fire
Okay.
truck.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do, but
Talk about
not.
fire
Only if
trucks
you're
in the
out
fire
for a
meeting.
fire.
Just a note on that, Dave and Ann, or Dave. I'm just starting to worry a little bit about replacing the ambulance down the road, since we can't do a retrofit. That's
got
gonna
about-
be a chunk of money.
Yes. We're hoping to get about 5 more years out of both.
Okay.
We're already discussing what's the next step, if we want to start putting it.
I got an email that said something, and I don't remember which one of you guys had sent it to me, something about it used to be 10,000 and we want to try to bump it to 15,000 a month.
I would even have to keep more than that.
A year.
What was the email? Did it say a month or a year?
It's a year because
Year.
right now, the Connecticut district is, I think it's 15 per year, and I really think it needs to be a
More
lot
than that.
like 40 or 50, honestly.
Technically, we should have the extra, we'll call it 10,000 that went into the building fund. Because we're using the rent to do the building fund instead of out of the general fund. So there would be that 10,000, right?
Yes, all of that money in the LGIP that's designated in this line and that line. The Med Board has access to all of it. Now, you may have it designated for the building fund, the equipment fund, but if you need it, it's not against the law. You can access all that stuff for whatever you want. Now, the thing to think about is right now, a demo gas 4x4, pretty close to the ambulance that we have outside, 285. In 3, 4, or 5 years, it's going to be like 350 or 4. So we just have to be ready for that.
Okay. Okay, any other questions, concerns about the equipment status and the safety status? Okay, moving on, adding my name back to the bank account that accidentally got removed somehow.
Do you need a motion?
I don't know yet. She's gonna.
Yes, you will, it needs to be in the minutes.
Okay, so we have in our October letter requesting the addition of Andrew Fornell to the East Umatilla County Ambulance Health District checking account, Board President Crystal J. Werland was removed in error. Please reinstate her name as a signer on the Medic 400 account. The Medic 400 checking account will have the following signers: Dave Beatty, Chris Werland, Christine Erms, and Andrew Fornell. Cash management admin will remain Dave Beatty. So, do I have a motion to sign this?
I move to,
It didn't have a number. I think it's just a request.
so is this for Andy too?
Yeah, Andy's on there.
Okay, I move to approve the addition of Andy Farnell to East Umatilla County Health and District and Board President Crystal Werland, which was removed in error. Medic 400 checking account will have the following signers: Dave Beatty, Crystal Werland, Kristen Urban, Andrew Farnell, as written. Cash management administration will remain Dave Beatty. So I move to
Okay.
approve this agreement.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'd second it.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, I will go ahead and sign it and then pass it around. Chris, if you can swing in when you get back in town.
Yep.
That motion will need to be in the minutes, because they'll need a copy of the minutes too.
No, they don't.
They don't
They
with
don't?
this, because we're doing it this way?
Wait, talk about that. Get that to her, she looks at it, if that signed, we're good.
Now, we
My
will
name is
all
not
have
on
to
the-
go in and sign
FYI.
sign the cards again.
That may be so.
Yeah,
I know
so,
every single time in the past we've asked that.
yeah, because that's how this started, is I went to sign the cards. And Chris was not on it, and I was like, wait, I'm not signing anything.
By doing it this way, we can get, I can take that into the bank tomorrow. And
Okay.
she will start the process.
And then I think she calls us and individually, I think is what.
Chris,
she
I
does.
know you're on the road, but when are you back in the area?
Within an hour and a half.
Okay. We'll still be here. Okay. Moving on, merging the districts. This one's mine. I want to move forward. I want to see if we can. It's my understanding that it doesn't really matter at this point in time, and correct me if I'm wrong, if the fire is here and the medic is here. Because we're still continuing to do that, and we can revamp those lines at a later date. We cannot revamp the medic for the end of the 10 years, however many years we're down. We could revamp the fire to match the medic. However, it's not really going to affect if we merge, correct?
Most correct, yes.
Okay, so with that said,
Question about that.
okay,
So if we merge the districts and we go from two $1 assessments to a single $2 assessment, what happens to those people that don't lay in, they're outside of just in the fire boundary, let's say?
so wouldn't they still just go with the $1?
No,
Not if our assessment goes to $2.
Oh,
So
that's the political.
So that's the crux of the issue. It's not as simple as us just wanting to buy. This is a map.
got mine.
Everyone's got the map. We can't move the red line without bumping into another fire district. We can't move the blue line without bumping into another ASA. So we can't move either line without affecting somebody other than our districts.
Okay,
In order to move either of those lines, we're going to have to involve more than people at this table. So we're going to have to involve neighboring districts. We're going to have to involve potentially commissioners. We're going to have to involve probably an emergency manager, et cetera, to try to navigate what it looks like. So maybe that was just a echo or something.
I think he's just beeping out.
So it's not going to be easy, which is why it hasn't been done. Plus, you have a whole area in the county that's currently unprotected. It's a challenge. Otherwise, it would have been fixed already. But it's going to take some persistence, and there is that element that looks at the greater county, whatever that looks like. We'll address some of that stuff. Yes, the ASAs only get drawn every 10 years, but guess who draws the ASAs? And that group doesn't take 10 years to get together. And so they could draw ASAs every 5 years. They could draw them every 1 year. You could, if one had enough clout and pressure, you could pressure that group into redrawn ASAs like tomorrow if you really wanted them to do that. I wouldn't advocate for that, but it can be done. It's just not, you hit a little resistance like, wow, we can't do that. And it's like, and we've been taking no for an answer. So is it as simple as putting it on the ballot for next May? No, absolutely not, because you got to fix the lines on the map. And we have to get our neighbors on board with what we would be doing, because some neighbors would lose that tax revenue. It would change for others, and that's why, in my mind, you can't really do it unless you holistically look at the entire county and say, we're going to draw some lines. We're going to meet the intent of some of these, the future fire protection laws that are coming. We're going to meet the intent of the ASA, and everyone gets ambulance service when they call 911. And it's going to take a group at the county level to say, hey, what makes the most sense? Where do we draw the lines? Yes, we're going to bless that and move forward. That's
So how do we push them
Yeah, how do we?
to move this forward?
we keep the pressure on them that this needs to be done, and whether it's that the county-wide entity, it's a lot of things, and so it's going to take a lot of work from people at this table to keep that pressure on those folks to do. If this is an issue, we need to solve this issue. We're willing to work to get this issue done, and just keep the pressure on.
So are there emails, addresses, names of folks that we could start,
Who's our contact?
like, I mean,
I think
So
Who do we need to stop and
the
harass?
county administers the ASA.
yeah, so you have that. You have the county emergency manager, which is a pretty easy one-stop shop. The ASA committee is the emergency manager, the commissioners, and is it Scott Stanton and Tony Parati?
Scott and Tony kind of flip flop vice
Right,
president.
and so like it's all folks that we know. It's
is
not
that
like
Sage? Is that,
yeah, Sage is the
okay,
emergency
Sage,
manager.
okay.
Can we ask Sage to set up a meeting to start the conversation with the people involved?
Well, and that's kind of already, so it's kind of fitting our challenge and issue into that bigger picture. And so, yes, I think some of that stuff's already happening. It's getting our district issue kind of in alignment with that to try to, kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. But it's not just unique to us either. I'm guessing if you look at this extrapolated over the county, all of the blue lines don't add up with all of the red lines perfectly, would be my suspicion. So it could benefit other districts too, the Echoes and the Hermistons and the Pilot Rocks as well.
So how long does it look like it's gonna take for the county to do the countywide readjustment? Years?
I would say minimum of 2 years, and probably 4 to 6. Yeah.
3 to 6.
Would be my guess.
Have you sent a formal letter to the commissioners saying
No,
we want to merge our?
I don't believe so.
There has
That
been
would
a
be
formal
the
letter, but there-
That would be the first point I think I would suggest is a
Yeah,
formal letter, or maybe the board goes to the county commissioner meeting and says, we want to do this. We want to move on it. But I think they're kind of the management, I guess.
We gotta get it on their agenda that is, that it's gotta be forward.
So Greg, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
6
they
years.
thoroughly
is a
know.
long time.
I've talked to Doug Bolton a couple times. I saw him today. I've said this to Sage probably 15 or 20 times, and I've talked to one of the county commissioners about this exact same thing. So they know it's in their front yard. They know.
yeah. I don't want to. I mean, it's definitely a challenging thing. But I think what we can do is whether we sign or whether we draft up a letter and officially deliver it to the commissioners and to Sage. But we need to come up with a plan of what we're going to do to make this
Yeah,
keep going. And
because obviously being in front of them 20 times has been, I'm not saying not effective, that's not what I'm saying, but nobody is moving.
Evidently, we
And
are
so,
missing that step that we need to hit.
I know how our neighbor to the north gets their attention, but I don't want to be part of the board doing that, so.
So I guess my thing is how do we do what we need to do to get it moving? Do we need
And it's
Send
okay,
out a
I set that
letter?
on record.
and say, here's our formal request, blah, 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 but I think the medic board, and I want to verify, is ready to move with at least starting to harass the commissioners in that committee. I like the word harass.
Yes, you
It's
do.
better than stalking.
So I guess if it's the fire board's intent it's the intent of both boards to do this. We've been talking about this for a while. And I'm as frustrated, but this is a good illustration of the challenge. This is exactly what we need to look at to go, oh, yeah, it doesn't. If the medic board drafts a letter and the fire board drafts a letter, and we could probably draft the same letter on 2 different letterheads.
Yep.
And formally send that in to Sage and the commissioners. I don't know if that's what we like. At least that'll get a, hey, we got you. We know that you guys want to do that. Some are going to say, yeah, you know, put it on a ballot and go do your thing. And others are going to say, whoa, we can't, you know,
We gotta do this, this.
I think part of the challenge is not everybody knows how to go about doing it. And so when we don't know, it's hard. So we're just not going to do it. We're just going to avoid it. So
I would add to Matt, I think then you have some landowner entities, at least in the past, and it sounds like they haven't changed any or opposed to. They've not been part of a taxing district. And so
yes.
this would be something
Yes.
new that.
Mhm.
But
they're
you
not
know,
in favor
in
of.
Helix, when Helix became part of Medic 400, we had been getting the services for 10, 15 years. I pay my taxes. I don't pay attention to who gets every little penny. And it came across with a huge 90% or whatever in agreement because nobody had come to us and said, hey, we're giving you service and not asking you to pay for it. And when we combined the fire, we were a little worried, and it was what, 90%?
It was 75-20, 75-20, 25.
Yeah, but the Helix part was like 90%.
You're right.
Yeah.
That region, it was higher.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's education also. Explaining to the people who might be in this top section or the bottom section that, you know, was paying $2 for fire and now they can pay $1 and $1 for ambulance or, you know, I want to do my due diligence to move this forward. And whether we need to figure out what ABC is, I would be willing to do that, but is everybody still on board that this is a move that we want to pursue?
Absolutely. I think
Yes.
that crafting those letters from both
Both
districts, I mean, but I think we gotta stay on them because they're
Yeah.
gonna get the letter. And that letter's gonna come around the holidays and everyone's gonna get busy and
Yep.
if we just don't show up for 2 more months, then shame on us.
Yep.
So
You're gonna hand the letter to Sage.
Is anyone skilled at writing letters?
AI is.
ChatGPT.
Man, I need to catch up with the junk.
Oh, we lost him. Okay,
I agree, and I'm in favor too, and it probably sounds like the board is gonna have to pressure the commissioners.
well, and I get it. I mean, we've had this on our agenda, but we're getting to the point where I think we need to every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, whatever that is. Hey, where's it at? How can we help move it along? And start moving it.
Absolutely.
So,
It looks like the Board of Commissioners has meetings twice every month.
okay.
It'll probably take you
Oh, no,
2 to 3 to get on to
we
the.
just invite
You know what I mean? Like,
Amy and
The commissioners have been invited
The
this month. They
commissioners-
can't make it next month. They can't make it. I
for
haven't
the
asked about
Christmas party.
I think it would be more, if
You have-
if the board shows
you-
up to a commissioners meeting
I have.
and says,
I can ask.
I agree.
we're
I-
here and we,
I'll ask Amy.
I agree,
No.
Yeah.
but I think that the
but
letter
we'd have to get on their.
You'd have to get
on their agenda,
And we're not gonna get on their next meeting agenda, probably not the next one. So that's why it's gonna take.
I'll message him tonight.
Yeah.
He always is willing to MC it.
We're pretty accommodating. We can get people on the agenda pretty quickly, but.
Okay, I'll reach out to the commissioners.
I'll tell you what, if you can get him here,
I'm sorry, one more question. Who does the taxing stuff now for the county? It's not Paul, is there
Used
someone
to be
new?
Paul Chalmers, but it's,
it's Rachel Reynolds. She runs the Office of Taxation.
Rachel who?
Rachel Reynolds from Helix.
She was on our board.
She was.
Okay, I know who she is. I'll go harass her.
And so she probably, this map came from her office or from planning.
The map came from GIS, sorry.
yeah,
Okay,
that's what the logo says. Assessment, taxation and GIS.
if not, I'll send Terry down. Cause he's the one that got her on the Helix board.
So could I bring up one of my points that I think,
Go ahead.
it's not as anything that bad. So if we can't
Hey, Chris.
join and the public's gonna have to vote on us joining together anyway. So we still have to keep running 2 meetings. And can't combine them into one somehow.
There was something in the
Since
aspect,
everybody's attending each other. I mean, I kind of think you can't, but I don't know that.
So we've been told in the past that we cannot have a combined meeting. That was advice of special districts, as the AO said.
Okay.
yeah,
You can't. So that's why we've tried to streamline our agendas to not do things twice. And
Yes, please, yes.
as best as we can.
I know, and I'm not being critical.
Yeah.
As much as we can. Cram,
Yep.
That's all I'll say. Thank you.
We don't have
You're doing a
murder
good
on
job,
the
Matt.
fire board agenda.
not anymore. Okay, moving on, discussion, current health administrator employment contract, payback and insurance. I said that, didn't I? Pay and back pay? Okay, pass those out.
I need one, please.
Am I allowed to do this in open? Because it's discussing a payment?
He made the agenda, so absolutely.
Okay. At present, Andy's pay is. Are you two?
I'm the step one.
Step
Sorry, step
one.
one.
Yeah, but are you a 2 or a 3?
3.
Okay, so at present, he is step 1, range 3. Where is that? 4896 schedule. Why don't you do this? Because I'm getting confused. Okay. 4896 schedule, step 1, number 3, hourly is 25.30. However, he is not working 4896. He's basically doing a 40-hour week, right? And so my discussion would be to hop him down to the 40-hour a week, step 1, range 3, hourly the 35, which basically still gives him the same amount of take home, which is the difference. And this document is from the
CBA.
CBA. So that's my first thing on the agenda is correcting his pay so that just because he went down to 40 hours versus running a shift, he's still making and taking home the same amount. So any questions on that, or can I get a motion to bump him to the 40-hour position?
Can we do that, or
I was gonna
do
say,
you have
is,
to do that?
is that something that has to be done by the union, or is he exempt?
No,
So,
he's not on union,
okay,
He's not union.
but does that have to be?
District has to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, but can I not ask that we have a motion to tell the fire that we're okay with it?
Yeah, you can make a suggestion.
Okay, I'd like to make a suggestion. Part 2 is the pay that was due to him that got messed up. Do you guys remember that conversation?
Going on years, yes.
Going on years.
I have no idea.
Do you have payroll and timesheet records that support this plan?
Joanne, have they been given to you, everything that you need?
I printed out some, what I have. But I didn't have everything.
Okay, do you have everything now?
No. I
No.
don't. I do. I do not.
You do not. Do you have everything?
I have most everything. There are some that, to my understanding, that are not able to be found. So we were going off of pay stubs.
Okay,
So we have pay stubs. Because I went back as far as I could, and I was told that when another individual left, they did not know where they were.
okay,
So I have no idea where those are. We've tried to look for them and don't know where they are. So I have a certain block of time. After that, we were able to find pay stubs.
okay. So can that chunk of paperwork get to our accountant so that we can move forward? Dave?
Yes,
Yes?
yes, it can.
Okay,
So I guess to add to Chris, so do we have enough documentation of so if in an audit or something that comes out, do we have enough documentation to back that up? That's kind of what your concern is, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, how are we substantiating this claim?
it was a bully complaint. Right.
No, I understand, but and I trust Andy, and so I don't think he's making something up. But at the end of the day, there's got to be some records that he's basing his claim on.
It's gotta be auditable.
Yeah. Do you have everything all written out? Because you have a figure, right? That you feel that,
I don't have an exact figure. I would have to, because we're going off of 240 hours a month before I was getting overtime. And that I was working for the medic district, so it was a 40-hour work week. So I would have to go through and refigure all those.
well, we would need something. I mean, so, because
But isn't that something that we could give pay stubs and whatever documentation to Spratling and let Spratling figure that out? Isn't that what we pay them for?
Well, they're the ones doing payroll. It would seem that there's gotta be a record somewhere of the hours.
Mhm.
Right, and what was paid. Right. And the difference of what wasn't paid, and that's. I mean, we could figure that out, they could figure that out, it's gotta be something.
be someone,
And it's gotta be somewhere transparent, I think that's to Chris's point, the points already, it's
Mhm.
like. We gotta be able to check
Check and balances,
yeah,
okay? But I guess my question is, Andy can't do it, cause that's a conflict.
HR,
So-
when I called HR answers, they said I could not do it because it was a conflict of interest. It would be, if I figured it on all transparency, I could figure it in my favor. You guys wouldn't know the difference. Not saying you wouldn't know the difference, but
So that.
Well, you're not figuring it. What you're doing is giving us what you got paid
yeah,
and
right.
what you should have gotten paid. You're not fudging, you're not,
No.
this is this.
It's all black and white. Everything I have
So-
is black and white. It's
so that's
there's
what we
pay
need.
stubs and there are
That's,
time cards. And there are the reason why there's pay stubs is because there's no time cards. We can't find the time cards. So we're going off of pay stubs.
But you can look at it and say, we've got $4,000 split by $25, and it should have
Well, it
been
should say
35.
There's hours
blah,
on
blah.
there. I don't know
Yeah.
what your pay stub looks like, but I'm assuming it's wage times hours equals dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
Joanne, is that audible?
I couldn't say for sure, but I can't think why it would not be, because everything was. Yeah, that's the number of hours, times. Whatever
Good.
it was.
That's good enough.
So do we want to get Joanne to do that, or do we? Cause that's what I thought. So,
So
do we send it to Spratling
I think that's the only choice.
yes,
and ask them,
Yep,
here it is? So. Without having an employee, I think. Get the time cards together and send them over to them and say reassess and
time cards and
Pay stubs.
paid
pay
subs
stuff. And let's get it wrapped up,
and get it done.
okay? Is that acceptable? Okay. Insurance,
I know at one of the board meetings, there was a question asked of another individual to have their insurance costs are going up, and it goes up for everybody. And I don't want to point anybody out, but David asked to have the district kick in a little extra for his. So I'm asking for comparable compensation on the insurance part, because the insurance does cost considerably. If I'd ask that the district consider that, if they would, I would appreciate it, but.
it's my understanding,
How much are you asking for?
I would have to look and see. I don't know the exact figure that he has. I'd be say about the same of what he's getting. That's being.
No, I'm asking what you were asking for. What's your number?
What's my number?
12,000.
Yeah, what do you need to cover the
What do you
difference?
need?
What do I need to cover the difference?
Yeah.
400. Then I would be able to pay some.
About 400, he said.
400 a month.
can we get?
My suggestion is give me an email that says this versus this versus this, and the difference is 400 a month, and I'm requesting 400. Let me see it in writing. This is what I pay. This is what my deductible, whatever. And
Yeah, premium, new premium, what the district covers currently.
the difference in how you want to do that. Okay, and you can send that out in the next week or so, and we can look at that.
I know that with the back pay, there are some other employees that have similar issues that I had. So if there are other employees, I would like them to be considered for their back pay if they do have back pay issues.
That's on them to come to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So at least have that door open for them.
I don't know it'll be open, but
We might peek out the window.
Do we need to approve his payroll change?
no, we can't.
We can't. We're approving that we'll tell
Oh,
the,
that's right. I'm sorry.
we'll ask
I forgot.
fire to do that. Okay, moving along, health administrators report. Did anybody have any questions with the two line?
I do have a question for Andy. You guys were really talking up transports here a few months. How
No,
Who
he's
else is
gone.
again?
Okay, so
Tell him talk quick before he gets back
so
on.
before he gets back up, I actually went to St. Anthony's, I did St. Morning, and did a trauma case review. They do it every Wednesday of the month. This is the first one I've been able to make. They were talking about transfers, and they were talking about Hamilton doing them, Hermiston doing them, and Ford. So I said, hey, we're interested in doing that. Will you put us in the mix? I want our district to be taking care of our neighboring district and helping those citizens in that area. You know, it may be going from one area to another, and it would just be the small BLS transports to get started. And they seem to be very receptive to us doing those transports. So I gave them my phone number, I gave them my personal cell and my work cell, and I said, call me, text me, whatever it takes.
Let's
If
get
it's
it
3 in the
moving.
morning, doesn't matter. I've talked to some of the individuals that work already in there, like, let's go do it. I said, okay, 3 o'clock in the morning. So we'll get it done.
Andy, does our neighbor to the north do transports?
Yeah, well, let me rephrase that. When I worked there, they did very generous.
Okay.
And I know that had several talks with St. Mary's, a lot of the charge nurses there. And they have asked that, you know, they're going to help out. Absolutely. But there's some things in the state of Washington. There's certain classes they want you to have for certain things, but if it's coming from Washington into Oregon, I don't know if it would really apply, and vice versa. If it was a Washington to Washington, that's gonna be a whole other ballgame, which we can look at in the future, but let's get things moving into the direction of coming back to Oregon.
Do you need something formal from the board to go to the hospital?
I talked to him a couple of years ago.
A letter is what? Do you need something from the board?
I don't.
No, I don't think so either. So,
Chris is calling again. Or
thank you. Hello. Okay. Do it real fast.
You missed it. No, I talked to St. Anthony's. I went there for a trauma case review. They have other districts that are doing transfers and further out districts than ours. I requested that we be put in that mix, and they said that they would be more than happy to call us. So I hope in the near future we're getting calls to get into that mix of the transfers.
What about don't we have an agreement with St. Mary's as well?
I do believe so. I don't know where that is. I would have to dig further into that and then talk to the individual. I do have a name and a number and a contact, so I will be reaching out to them also.
It's great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, business from the board cannot go yet.
I want to introduce Travis. He's our newest firefighter paramedic.
Hello,
Travis?
thanks for the emails and keeping us posted on what you're doing. Appreciate that.
Okay. Before I do the business from the board, we need to go into executive meeting real quick. So I'm going to ask to clear the room, except you can stay. I think.
Actually, you can.
Oh, no, you can't. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,